Episode 4, Master Script, The Truth About Death and the Afterlife. Series title, Seth Speaks, The Eternal Validity of the Soul. What happens when the body stops, but awareness doesn't? For as long as humans have looked at the stars, we have lived between two frightening extremes. On one side is the materialist view, the belief that consciousness is a mere byproduct of the brain, and when the heart stops, the lights simply go out. The end. On the other side is the traditional religious view, the belief that a singular life leads to a final judgment, where an external judge decides your fate for eternity. But when the personality known as Seth began speaking through Jane Roberts in the 1960 seconds, he offered a third frame of reference, one that is both more complex and more empowering. Seth describes death not as a finality and not as a static destination, but as an organized, conscious, and profoundly meaningful transition. He calls it a graduation from one specific field of study into a much larger reality. Before we go deeper into this transition, a necessary note for our community. This series explores a metaphysical model. It is a map for the mind, not established physical science, and it is not intended to replace your personal faith or medical advice. Our goal is to expand the conversation around consciousness, take what resonates with your inner knowing, and let the rest go. We have spent our previous episodes exploring how your thoughts act as the film for your life and the vast multi-dimensional nature of your soul. Now we face the one transition every human being will eventually meet. Seth describes death not as a cliff, but as a shift of attention, like moving from one room of existence into another. And the first key idea Seth shares is this: you do not lose yourself. According to the Seth material, your consciousness remains entirely intact through the transition. You do not vanish into a void, and you do not suddenly become a perfect, all-knowing God overnight. You remain you. Your personality, your unique sense of humor, your memories, and your fundamental sense of identity survive the change. In fact, Seth reveals a startling truth. Many people do not immediately realize they have died. Because the environment they find themselves in feels so vivid and structured, they may assume they are still in the physical world, perhaps in a dream or a strange fog. This is because the core law of the universe remains in effect even without a body. Expectation shapes experience. In physical life, there is a protective time lag between a thought and its manifestation. This lag is a safety feature of the 3D world. It gives you room to have a fearful thought and then correct it before it becomes a solid object or a physical event. Seth suggests that after death, this time lag disappears. Thought becomes environment almost instantly. This is why your state of mind and your core beliefs are so vital at the moment of transition. If you die with a firm expectation of being met by a specific loved one or a religious figure, your own creative consciousness, assisted by those on the other side, will generate that exact imagery to ease your transition. However, if an individual is gripped by intense guilt or expects a place of punishment, they may briefly project a hellish environment for themselves. Seth is very clear. There is no objective hell created by a vengeful God. There are only the mental constructions of the traveler. If you believe you deserve to be punished, you will project the punishment until you realize that you are the one holding the projector. The halls of imagery, as Seth calls them, are temporary staging zones where the soul stabilizes and begins to recognize that it is no longer bound by physical laws. During this time, you are never alone. Seth describes a vast network of helpers or guides. These are often souls you have known in previous lives, or even more advanced versions of your own multidimensional self. Their primary role is to act as astral paramedics, helping the newly transitioned consciousness to wake up to its new reality and let go of its attachment to the physical body. Once the initial stabilization is complete, the journey moves into a phase that most people find surprising: the after-death training centers. In Seth's model, the afterlife is not a place of eternal rest. A growing, vibrant consciousness would find eternal rest to be a form of stagnation, even a prison. Instead, the afterlife is a place of intense, joyful activity and learning. The first major task is the life review. But this is not a court trial with a judge and a jury. It is a review conducted by you, the student. From this new vantage point, your ego's filters are removed. You see your life with total, unvarnished clarity. You see not only what you did, but the ripple effects of your actions. You see the opportunities you took and the ones you avoided out of fear. You see your life as a series of lessons, some mastered, and some postponed for future growth. From this perspective, you also begin to perceive the probable realities we discussed in episode 3. You see the paths you didn't take, and the versions of you that chose differently. This is not meant to torture you with what ifs. Rather, it is meant to show you the full architecture of your choices, proving that your life was never random or accidental. It was a customized curriculum designed by your own soul for the purpose of its own evolution. As you integrate these lessons, you move toward a reunion with your entity, your larger multidimensional identity, the you of this lifetime. The name, the career, the face you see in the mirror today is recognized as one brilliant chapter in a much larger, ongoing book. You begin to regain access to the memories and skills of other lives you have lived in different centuries and different cultures. You realize that you are not just a human, but a multidimensional explorer who has donned many costumes to learn the lessons of the physical world. This integration is not a loss of your current identity, but an expansion of it. The drop of water realizes it is part of the ocean, yet it retains the memory of what it felt like to be a drop. In these inner realities, Seth describes classes and workshops where consciousness is trained in the handling of energy. You learn how to create responsibly. You practice manifesting ideas and environments without the training wheels of a physical body or the delay of linear time. This is where the creators of universes are trained. Eventually, every soul reaches a point of decision. Some choose to remain in these higher dimensions as teachers or guides for those still on Earth. Some choose to move into entirely non-physical systems of existence that we cannot even imagine. And many choose to return to the physical world to reincarnate. Reincarnation, in the Seth material, is not a forced sentence or a karmic debt you must pay. It is a conscious choice. You choose your new parents, your new body, and your new challenges because you want to master a specific aspect of reality that you haven't yet understood. You return to the classroom of Earth because you want to continue the adventure. The deepest takeaway from Seth's view of death is the absolute dissolution of fear. Seth famously said, "You are as dead now as you will ever be." He meant that the transition of death is no more mysterious than the transition of falling asleep every night. Every time you dream, you are already visiting these other dimensions. You are already practicing being a non-physical being. Death is simply the moment you stop wearing the diver's suit of the ego and finally take a breath of your native air. It is a return to a home you never truly left. It is the realization that you are an eternal validity and that your journey is one of infinite expansion, infinite creativity, and infinite love. If you are currently grieving the loss of someone, let these words be a gentle bridge. In the Seth model, that person has not vanished. They have simply moved beyond your current range of focus. The connection you shared, the love you felt, is a permanent part of the fabric of the universe. Love is a literal energy, and it does not dissipate when the body fails. Before we conclude this episode, I want to invite you into the conversation. We are building a community of mental detectives, and your inner experiences are a vital part of the map. Comment below. What is your current expectation of what lies beyond? Did anything in this episode soften a long-held fear or widen your view of what your soul might be capable of? If this exploration brought you a sense of peace or sparked a new curiosity, please like the video. It helps the algorithm share this message with others who may be searching for answers. And be sure to subscribe for episode 5. In our next installment, we will dive into one of the most controversial and fascinating parts of the Seth material, the history of religion. We will look at what Seth says about the historical Christ, the distortion of spiritual messages, and why organized religion often misses the true point of the soul's journey. I'm your host, and this is Seth Speaks. Remember, there is no end, only new beginnings. I'll see you in the next reality.